This video is entitled "The Illuminati Funded Archaeologists Have a Lot to Answer For." I don't want to labour the point of this for too long, because what I have to show is probably one of the archaeological wonders of the world. I don't think it was ever lost. It was hidden deliberately, and yet there's so much of it that I find it strange that they could even hide it. So I just want to talk about the principles of the archaeologist, and how they learned everything they know from the priest. They'll be up in arms at me saying this, so I better give some illustrations of why I feel that these are frauds. The archaeologist should adopt the scientific method, and when it finds something that is unpalatable, it doesn't bury it or hide it. So you take the priest, and he uses punishment to punish us for misleads us about the true principles of what Christ was telling us. If you take the incident of Christ saying you can even achieve greater things than I can or I do by following these works, knowing what he knew, following that path of compassion and love, and then the churches take us on destruction, suppression, steal the poor's money. So we have a they're not going to answer the questions of the only begotten Son of God when Christ is telling them he ain't that. It doesn't sound like it. And so the archaeologist now has control of the game, the playing board or whatever it is, and the stuff that they want us to see, they force down our throats, and then they'll tell us what it is. I mean, let's take, for instance, the archaeologists of Wales or Great Britain. We have historic monuments. English have their English heritage, and we have Cadw to protect monuments. And what they protect, I found Wales's largest stone row. They're not interested in protecting something that they don't understand. And they want to protect the manor houses, the stately homes, because obviously the Illuminati live in those. The churches, because they were articles of suppression, and the castles, and these are the things that they want to protect. The stuff that they don't understand, they love it all to fall down, I suppose. I mean, I don't want to tar every single archaeologist with the same thing. But basically what they're feeding us is another paradigm which controls us. It doesn't allow us to see what we truly are, where we've truly come from. It doesn't lay it out on the table and say, well, this is what we think. Well, no, we're certain about this, we're certain about that. They're certain, and yet they provide you, they wouldn't say, oh well, these castles were actually methods of enslaving the population. And the church was another method of collecting taxes from the poor. Nothing changes. So why am I so pissed off? I suppose, and because I thought they were above that. I thought that they should be above that. I think the priest should be above that. We are just slaves to the controlling elite for this moment, anyway. And so what I want to do is I've had my rant. I've blown off my chest. I hope I haven't turned people off this video, because what is enclosed in here is as great as any archaeological discovery. I use the word discovery, I should say, or the archaeologists are unveiling. Well, not even the archaeologists are prepared to unveil this. So one of the seven wonders of the world, or you can add to the wonders of the world in archaeological terms, and this is it. And nobody, it was never lost. And I don't even know that you could say that it was hidden. Just nobody mentioned it. Nobody mentioned this. So that's the framework for it. And now, obviously, it links into my research, into the Orbar wave, into the demigods, into the Olympian gods, into the lesser gods, into the God particle, the Higgs boson. I mean, it's all linked together, and the ancients knew it, and I've been saying this for a long time in all the videos that the Orbar wave is fractal string theory. It is the particle of creation, and our ancient ancestors saw it, and here is the evidence why that I'm absolutely certain of that. And this is only a tiny fragment of the evidence that I hold, but this is one of the archaeological wonders of the world. And the nations that these structures are built on should be proud of that. Some of these are in Saudi Arabia. They should be proud of it, and realize that their neighbors in neighboring countries have come from the same thing. In fact, what I will show you links to a worldwide knowledge. There is no difference to a Saudi, Iraqi, Iranian, a Christian. We are all one, and there is no doubt about that. So I've had my little rant, and I'll get on to the reason how this video and how it occurred. I've been a member of the Mayan forum for a while, and occasionally people will post some interesting stuff to me, and I think it's a lady called Dor posted to me a link, and the name of the site is messagestoeagle.com / unknown structures Middle East. And so I went to the website. I always tend to follow up anything that anyone has sent me. They bothered to have a look at my work, and they bothered to respond to me. Although lately it's there is a lot of correspondence into the Orbar wave and all the implications of that. So I wrote the messages to eagle.com. Very good site. Anyone, I think people should subscribe to it if they're looking for questions to scientific answers that are outside the normal. And there's also a Facebook page. So in the article that was which was on the page, it talked about these structures, and talked about a lot of them, talked about thousands of them. So there were no links or GPS coordinates for those sites. So I started having a look around some of the referenced areas that they were talking about. I couldn't find anything. So I asked for a couple of links to Google Maps, and they sent them to me fairly quickly, so I'd like to thank them for that. And so what I'm going to show you now is these three links, and I was blown away by it. So this is the first link, and we have these structures on the floor. The ones that I've measured go 20 meters, but you can obviously see that there are numbers and numbers of these orbs with strands orbs on their own, hook web orbs, depicted on the ground. They're called geoglyphs. And the second link is another man-made structure, which is we call them the jellyfish orbs, or the part of the biological process of the orb bar wave, being part of a the whole process of creation, holding what looks like biological processes within it. And again, these will vary in size, 50 meters, 100 meters, quarter of a mile. So that was the second site, and then we got the third site that was depicted, looking very much like the structures, the orbs around the outside of the rings. There's a piece of the little extract of a piece of rock art in comparison to these geoglyphs on the floor. And people will say, oh, well, we're not really very interested in this. Well, some people who can't see it won't be. So I decided to, I'd just been to a talk by Ian Crane. He was talking about Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon was in the vicinity of this. He talked about the Watchers and how these gods, and all these gods is the energy of creation, or the God particle. It's the process of that matter is formed by, and the ancients understood this as their gods. The Olympian creator gods, the Sumerian, the Tutut, the Kachinas, and we don't understand it because we've got a man in a chair. We personified these gods, well, as the Greeks did, and but it is a way off the mark, to be honest. It is the energy of creation which displays that biological process. So with the in the vicinity of Mount Hermon, this is when man first fell out of the understanding of this knowledge. We have they can either be enclosures for animals. I tend not to think that they are. These areas are not heavily populated, although the base of Mount Hermon is more populated than the areas that I've been subsequently looking at. So the overall length of those circles, I would call them henge-like structures, but obviously you'd have to go down and do the proper work on them. But I've seen these circles very much in the stone circles, the banks and ditches called henges. They're paired in rows. So what was said in the article about this being a massive site and of massive importance is probably correct. I will be posting. I've discovered with use in conjunction. I've discovered, which is actually the wrong word to say, but I've discovered by using Google Earth a number of these sites, and I'll put that up as a separate video to show parts of the location and how dense this stuff is. So what I wanted to do is just a quick little to discuss what we have. So in here we have what I would see as, and again the images of Google Earth aren't great because it isn't under high resolution such as built up areas. This is desert terrain. It's been covered with sand over 4,000 or 5,000 years. Nobody lives there. This is proper wilderness now. I think there's one place where there are a number of houses, but the majority of these sites are actually miles of nothingness. No human, with the occasional road and car track on it in the desert. So what we have here is a hook web orb with a strand. depicted on the floor. Many people who follow my videos will know that, have seen that before. What we have here is orbs being formed out of the strands. There's a possibly that it's given me a greater understanding of what I'm seeing, that these spheres could be released from the Earth, which goes to so the pyramid type shape it could be linked to the pyramids all over the world, and those energy centers actually produce this energy. That is only just a possibility. I'm not saying that it is or it isn't. But we've seen these triangular strands, we've seen orbs at the end of them, or orbs forming from them. So that's how the energy works. It looks very pyramidic. The pyramid structures are again all throughout the world. Bosnia, South America and America, Egypt. But we have the orb and the triangular shape, which is the process which is either creating it or feeding it energy. What I got, the next one is an interesting one. It's very difficult to see it. Again, the resolution isn't great, but you've got a orb on a pillar with dots on the top, and we've got an orb on a pillar with dots on the top. This image is not mine. This is from Mimi. She said that I could have it. I've got one fairly similar to it, but we have a pillar with the orbs and dots on the top of it. But again, it's not great resolution, so you can say, well, there's a bit of a link there, but given all the other stuff that you've got, this is an interesting one. Now, orbs, these form into bars, and what we have is an orb with a hole in the middle. So I've depicted the orb with a hole in the middle with these we call them chains within orbs, or tubes within orbs, which give it this distinct shape on the center. But what you notice, and there's another depiction of an orb below it, a smaller one with a hole. But what you do, if you have a look at it carefully, above it there's a little bar attached to it, which is like the bar that the orb forms into. So this is the tube or the tunnel which takes the energy away. So only through studying the energy of this and knowing how it works, I can recognize its shape and pattern, because I've seen it so many times before. We don't have an image which is exactly like that, but I would expect that structure is attached to that geoglyph. And so it backs up the orb fugolite theory. Again, you can see the similarity of these hollow spheres that form on the massless, on the God particle that holds matter together. So we got indications that this is the God particle. It is the fractal string theory. Pretty damn simple. Let's get over it and let's get on with it. The ancients, our ancient ancestors knew it, and there's tons of information for it. So we have a section in our data saying orbs within orbs, and what we have is a sphere here with a sphere within it, or on the edge of it. We have them. And if you notice in the corner, what you've got is a biological fertilized cell. So, the biology of the creation, these creator gods, but don't project backwards our ideas of God on it. This is a creative force. This is an energy force that is seen. This is, to me, is quite impressive. It's got the line in it, or the tube in orb, or the different structure on it. The blue area is the geoglyph. This is from Google Earth. The V-shaped strand is underneath it. So you've got two orbs together. You've got the cutouts, or the tube within orbs, and the change of pattern and shape. And with the V shape, you've even got the orb which sits at the base of that V shape depicted. It's a small little white dot, so on this white strand or V-shaped strand you've got a small little dot at the base of it, and you've got a small little dot at the base of it, which is actually we still haven't been able to crack what we believe that function is, but it is present on 2, maybe 3 other images, so there's a pattern occurring there, and it's also depicted in rock art. So the ancients knew this energy, and here's another one. This is a message. I think these were taken over Saudi, although they're all over the places. That they're linked to Northumberland. This is a Northumberland piece of rock art. This is one of the geoglyphs on Saudi territory, I believe. These are the orbs with the tubes or strands that come out of them. These type of structures, cut marks or petroglyphs, are all over the world. They're more intensified in certain areas. Scandinavia have them, Britain, Scotland, Wales. The Americas have them, the Aborigines have them. It's about time we realise that we are not separate races in any shape or form. We're only separated by barriers of boundaries and nations and religion, and so that religion has separated us. The archaeologists think they're superior to the priest. The priest thinks he's superior to the archaeologist. And yet we're all one. It's a funny old thing, and both of those were set out to create 2 sides to the argument. So what we have is it's very difficult to describe the structure which is on the floor, but let's talk about there's a semicircle with two cutouts in it. I don't know how you would describe it. A round arrowhead, maybe, something you would. But either way, it's an orb with a tongue. You can see that now. The Google Earth images is the lighter of the image. There's a picture of the orb next to it, and there's 2 pictures of 2 different formats of that. One with a hole in it, and you can see the small hole at the top, and one with just a strand coming in. We also get these crescent shapes. What we've got is a point of energy, either pulling energy into it through its strands, and what we have is the half moon, effect on the geoglyph. These half moons are a part of the process of delivery of energy where it's required. Even though this energy is somewhat massless, it still interacts with matter. So what we have is the V-shaped orb. Again, I've zoomed into it a little bit too far. I should have put some shading or something onto that geoglyph, but you can see the Pac-Man effect, or the V shape in the orb, and there's a V shape in it. So in orbs, we've only had this on 1 or 2 occasions. We have a triangular shape forming inside the orb. We got our triangular shape forming in the orb. We got an orb with a hole in. We got an orb with a hole in. And there are thousands of these. The video that I'll put on the Google tour, that I'll put up probably within the next few days of this being put up, will show you that the ancients, these sites just need to be protected. I mean, why we haven't been told about it. So we have an orb this is one of the strand orbs, but we're seeing more of this plasma effect in the sky. And then we got an orb with a dot in it with a strand on the side, and I'm not saying that they're actually all the same, but there's a pattern I could start to describe what to expect, and looking over these sites, there's so much of it that I recognize, but nobody else would be able to. I wouldn't even be able to put it into language as to how to describe it, because the shapes and geometry there, they're very difficult. So what we have is the rock art, and we have these rock petroglyphs, and just to show, these are 4,000 years old roughly. So they date back to our history, old history, prehistory, and there's another very similar shape drawn onto the surface of the earth. And so what we look at is we've got the V's with a jellyfish type of shaping. We got the holes in the orbs, and there's a lot more of these triangular orbs than I've got in my data set, so I was a little bit surprised by the amount of them, but I recognize the process. But there are differences. There's different orbs you're photographing, some different places that you won't get in. It's like as though there's different energy within different continents. When I was in America, I noticed that a lot more of the orbs were pink. You very rarely got pink orbs in Britain. So there are differences, and local differences as well. The majority of stuff you get is similar throughout the world, but you get the regional variations on a small scale. So this is just one of the showing the web structure, or what I call a web, how the orb puts out the web, and it collects energy for the cell, or the orb distributes energy through that web, and it's part of the energy creation. Simple as that. And seen it over and over again. And so what you've got, I don't know how big this thing is, but you've got the orbs at the points where orbs will form at these points of intersection of the web. You've got a web on the floor. To me, it's unmistakable. Some of them are less clear. I would have expected them to have had. This is the one that shows the best similarities. So I have cherry picked a bit, but overall, there's no point me showing you something that doesn't look similar. Science is. I do my best job at delivering this to a broad audience. I have enough, a number of publications, if the peer review would ever allow me into it. But of course, it's I'm not doing it. I'm doing it for another reason, and that is basically for releasing this study, as any good scientist should. Not withholding data, as many other people, not being protective over it, releasing it. I've had people now are quoting my work, and that's great. I mean, if they put their own slants on it, well, but they're quoting my work. So, for anyone who hasn't seen my videos before, what we have is a microscope with the orbs with holes in it. We have the orbs with holes in it that deliver energy, that put out the strands. You got the cell that puts out the strands. And we got the ancients who knew this god force, or the gods, and they named them different. So there's one called the Gigi, and the Zuzu, and Toot Toot, and from different cultures. These gods did different things. Some of them were healing, some of them sat underneath plants like a serpent, and I haven't shown any of the waves. There are very few of them that are good enough quality. And so, a biological universe. So I did mention that I talked about how the orb interacted with nature, and I've shown this image on many occasions. It's how the orb is delivering energy to trees in the spring. How it attaches to plants. How it is the Sumerian gods of planting, and how we've got it so wrong. But of course, the Illuminati or the controlling influences didn't want us to know that there is a biological universe, that the concepts of prana and chi from our most ancient ancestors is actually correct. And we have been led by religion into a punishing God, archaeology into false paradigms, feeding us down alleys that they want to take us, and these are blind alleys that we just can't get out of. Unfortunately, this is the time of unveiling, and all of these things will yet to be seen in the sky as they were, and to be re-understood. So I will be putting another video together apart from the Google Earth one, about the fake alien invasion again. That is what they've sold us. They've seen these monuments for years, and I'll just give you a little bit of a clue. If you imagine those towers with eyes, then you've got images from the War of the Worlds book, and that is not by chance. Those images have been made to look similar, and they have been working on this alien invasion for years. It will appear as an alien invasion to those who haven't heard my work. It is just the return of the gods, or the return of the God particle, or the return of fractal string theory. This site should be a World Heritage Site. You know, the people of these lands, and a lot of them are in conflict with each other because it goes over many different territorial boundaries, should be proud that their ancient ancestors left them the truth about what we are, where we've come from, and how the energy of creation functions. So I implore all you people to protect these sites for our future generations. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening.